Ron, I could make a lot of arguments that Tennessee shouldn't play neutral site games anymore, that Neyland Stadium is a heck of an advantage, that the Nashville fans are going to be the Nashville fans no matter what. You tell me why playing in Nashville is a big deal for the University of Tennessee football program.
For me, man, it's a central location in the state. First and foremost, people can come from each side, like as close as it seems, and as much bleed orange as you get from West Tennessee. A lot of people don't like making that trek. I'm gonna be honest. Like that is a long, straight, boring drive from Memphis all the way to Knoxville. Like that is it's a boring drive from Nashville to Memphis. So add 2 more hours on it. This is really like, oh man, I sit this one out. Or I maybe go 1 game a year. If you can get it right here in Nashville, man, and get everybody coming from Alabama, you get them coming from Kentucky, you get them coming from West Tennessee, and so forth and so on. I think it's prime location. I think it's something when you look at recruiting, you got to be able to get here, and be able to circle the wagon, circle the state. That's a part of it, kind of planting your flag, if you will. I think that's what, when you relate it to basketball, I think that's what was so important about the Memphis-Tennessee basketball rivalry. You kind of plant your flag. I thought that was a great idea for them to have a central location and play a neutral site game here. So with Heupel and them getting back here, even if it's once every 3 years or whatever it may be, you're going to get it's essentially another home game. You just don't get the extra 40,000 that you're going to get up there in Neyland, but you know what I'm saying? You will get it out there in the parking lot. So I think it's going to be a phenomenal time led by the tailgate tomorrow, starting off at about 8 in the morning, and everybody will be rocking, man. It's something you got to have. You know what I'm saying? If you want to plant your flag in the state, why not go to the capital of the state and let them know who really runs the state?
Good point. I can't argue with any of that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. From a fan's perspective, I totally agree with Ron. As somebody who has made that trip from Knoxville to Memphis, back and forth way too many times, being from Memphis, it's fine to Nashville or back. But you're right, that drive from Nashville to Memphis seems like it's never ending.
It's eternity.
It's got that one long S turn where if you're not paying attention, you could easily just drive off the road.
Yeah, and also, if you were Nashville to Memphis is flatland. It's more like the Mississippi Delta. So there's no mountains, no scenery. It's just, it's almost like the Midwest at that point.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Ron, one of the things, so I agree with you on that point, but from a recruiting perspective, even if everybody's going to disagree with me on the Nashville talent,
right.
Does it really do Tennessee many favors? Because doesn't Tennessee already kind of have a lock on Nashville recruiting? Can't they just get whoever they want out of Nashville anyway?
You would think so. But I think the bridges that have been burned in the past by this coaching, the few coaches that came in, especially this last staff with Coach Pruitt and them, like it was a turn your nose up Tennessee coming into town. Like I'm telling you what I know from coaches now. Coaches would be like, "No, we all right. We'll catch them another time," or something like that. Like it was a turn your back on Tennessee because Tennessee, in a sense, had you thinking that we're too good to recruit here. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, we shouldn't have to recruit here. Y'all will just come if you're gonna come. If not, we're gonna go to Alabama. We'll go to Georgia. We'll go to Florida to get guys out of there. But I think it was such a turnoff. It's more important now than ever to make sure you put a fence around the state. And I think this is the way to do that because recruiting is not a gimme. In my era, yes, without question. 90s, early 2000s, even a little bit 2010s, like it was okay. It was still good. But man, after that, man, and after the dumpster fire that we had up at Tennessee, like it was, you got to get back in and polish it up and put the product back out there and let people see who you are. That family atmosphere is back at Tennessee, and that wasn't welcoming throughout the state anymore. When it came to recruiting, you ask kids nowadays, they weren't thinking about Tennessee. Like it was an afterthought. I'm talking about 5-star guys coming in. You might get one, you know what I'm saying? But the majority of them, they're going elsewhere, man. And that was a problem. So I think right now it's back in a better place. And then for it to stay in a better place, you got to continue going around and knocking on those doors and, letting people see your face. It was nothing like going to school and I'll be sitting at lunch and I hear, hey, Coach Forman's in the building. You know what I'm saying? Like it was, whoa, hey, y'all, hey, everybody, hey, man, who are you here to see? You know what I'm saying? It had that aura about it. When it got to Dooley and Butch did a solid job. I'll give Butch credit. Butch did a solid job. But as far as getting the guys that's 3 stars in the state and things of that nature, if you weren't a 5-star, Butch wasn't coming to get you. Pruitt, he didn't even think about it. You know what I'm saying? Now you're starting to get that stigma back of hyper coming around, and it's like, oh, you sitting up and you perk up a little bit more because Tennessee coming around, and that wasn't there before.
Dave, before sorry.
Go ahead, Caleb. Go.
Yeah. I just want to make a quick comment with the Pruitt thing. About 4 years ago, I was on a podcast called Forever I Love Atlanta Sports Podcast. I want to give them a shout out. The guy there told me, he said Jeremy Pruitt told him personally that he didn't think Nashville talent was any good whatsoever. So he said the only place he went for talent in Tennessee was West Tennessee and Memphis, and he thought the rest of the state's football talent was terrible.
See what I'm saying?
Wow.
see what I'm saying?
Well, he was just in general, he was a real dodo bird.
like, and even if you think that, you don't say that and come out and act that way. Like I can come out and put a face on, you know what I'm saying? And then once I get home, be like, oh, man, I'm never going down there again, dude. I can't find no talent down there. That's different than saying I ain't going at all because they ain't got no talent. Like at some point, the pendulum got to come back and swing again. And once again, you see Tennessee bubbling with talent.
Right. And when the pendulum swings and there's a John Henderson, you better have a presence there and not have to start from square one.
You feel what I'm saying? Exactly. Without question.
It's so crazy you talk about it because I don't think that people realize in recruiting how Tennessee has lost basically a generation of kids that they have to win back over. My son's 18, and I can remember Tennessee football if I'm working or whatever, or it's a replay. And, first of all, he wasn't attuned to even caring that the game was on. And second, he's like, oh, did they blow it again? I mean, and he's a nice kid, he's not trying to be mean, but that's just the tenor that was laid for 10 years, Ron.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I'm still struggling now with guys anywhere from 10 to 25, some 26, to get them in a headlock and tell them, dude, this is not the way it is for Tennessee. I promise you, what you have experienced through your lifetime, your young lifetime, this is not the way Tennessee looks. This is not how they operate. Like, I promise you, this will be over. So now you go into events and people are looking and saying, oh, man, look at Florida, man. We got to play Florida. What's going to happen? No, man, Florida got to play Tennessee. That's the problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's switched. So we got to get that mindset back to that. But you can't blame them because that's all they've known. It's been a decade of just, golly, revolving door and a little bit more than that. But to see it finally coming back around, and you see the people older than me and my era looking at it like, see, I'm trying to tell y'all will understand. Like that Alabama feeling, that was a feeling all the time. You could look for those once to twice a year, anytime. I'm telling you, this is how it's supposed to go. So to see it getting back that way, you just got to hold them steady. Hold them steady, Dave. Don't let them. They'll try to turn their head on. Keep it. We don't need no ADD. We don't need no distractions kicking in. We don't need none of that stuff. We need the kids focused, man. We're going to take all their phones when Tennessee playing from now on and cut them off. Ain't no more looking at social media or anything. We need them focused, man, so they can see exactly what it's supposed to be, man. And this is what it is.